Let me, let me grab that. I don't have that handy.
There, am I right?
Thank you very much. Special meeting of the Common Council. To the members of the Common Council of the City of Tonawanda, New York. Pursuant to the power vested in me by Article 2, Division 3, Section 2.048 of the City Charter of the City of Tonawanda, adopted January 1st, 1998, I hereby call a special meeting of the Common Council of the City of Tonawanda to be held at the council chambers in the City Hall, Tonawanda, New York, on the 14th day of October 2025 at 6 p.m. Said meeting is being called for the purpose of conducting a budget workshop and such other business as may properly come before the council. Dated 10th day of October 2025, signed by Jenna N. Cook, Council President. To council members and mayor, you are hereby notified that a call for a special meeting of the Common Council of the City of Tonawanda, New York, of which the foregoing is a true copy, was this day filed in the office of the city clerk of the City of Tonawanda, New York, dated this 10th day of October 2025, signed by J. Mario Pena, City Clerk.
Sorry.
Okay, just want to remind the public that there's no comments from the public. But we did publish for the public hearing. At this time, I'll turn it over to the council. We scheduled to meet with the mayor and the treasurer at 6, chief of police at 6:30. Chief of fire at 7, and DPW in Parks and Rec at approximately 7:30. Okay, do we have any specific questions for the mayor or treasurer?
We'll begin. Salary line, 127,300. What are all those salaries?
Sharon, Judy, and myself.
Then professional services. You have it under 300. What professional services, you use, Webster Rosani, is that right? Who's the law firm that you
We
use?
do use Webster's on the.
Yeah, so is that under a different professional services line?
If it's not professional services, like we hired somebody to do let's say mailings or something special for the city, there's not much on it, it's $300 on it. So. And what else would be special services, probably?
Just that.
Any association?
Yeah, associations.
But that would be under membership dues and fees, yeah. So
Well, sometimes like other departments use it for like magazines, subscriptions.
that's on the, for
That
professional
would be
services.
under my memberships and duties.
Yeah, that'd be the membership dues.
Right.
Okay, and what about public relations for 600?
Public relations would be like dealing with papers, sending out things to the papers, like say, the mayor always does a article about, not article, an ad for, let's say, the Chamber of Commerce. So we would send it out as a public relations to them, public ad in regards to the mayor. You do it every year, let's say for the Canal Fest, both mayors put in a note in the Canal Fest magazine, things like that.
And membership dues and fees, I see it increased by $75. What kind of membership dues and fees do you guys still?
Membership, I belong to the mayor's European Association.
Yes. Are those the mayor's lines? And I have no more questions there.
Does anybody have any questions on this?
Yeah, how come you got, I mean, I know it was not budgeted for printing last year, but we didn't put any more in this year for printing.
That's not only to the office, also this purpose paid for out of his office side.
Yeah.
Different
Good office office, this is what last year.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions on the mayor's lines?
I guess the benefit medical, that's separated out. That would be just pulled into the health. All. We pay high market. I can't really, it's hard to break it out. It's a city, right? But you know, we pay high mark for all the city employees, so to break it out, you know, budget group by budget group, I mean, we could do an allocated percentage, but other than that. There isn't much else we do, especially when you start talking about, and self-insured. And, you know, self-insured, which pays stopgap insurance, or when it goes over 125 years and five, is that in line with the campaign? Is that gone up and down over the past years, or is that all the past? That's just that's, I don't know, I'm unsure exactly how much it costs, I'd have to go back at that number, but that's the stop and coverage. So it's an individual cost, it's 5,000. Right, that kicks in. Yeah, that's what we've been using. You know, basically what sure has been used for years, for my understanding of this. Gosh, but I guess what we paying for that stopgap, I would have to look back, I don't specifically, because that's bundled in.
As a group,
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. And again, I know this is mayor and treasurer, but this is kind of. I think this is more any of the lines that aren't specific. Yeah. Would be fine. So that also brings a question to is the health insurance. Is that something that we put up in our RFP that we approach it? Continues to be like Bill Brothers and that.
We actually checked this year looking for a better price, so we actually put it out into bid. So see the better price, we get the same amount of service.
Right. Is there an official RFP out or is it just out to bid?
We not a specific one as of yet, but near the end of the year, we do this, yeah. Each year.
I know it's a narrow window for.
Right.
Or it has to be by this.
Well, I think it's by, I believe you guys can do to like March 1st. It's not January to December, it's not when you're there. It's not killing. So we've got another 4 months.
So that's something we can consider.
We always do, yes. Always.
Didn't we just save like 100 grand, Don?
Yeah, we did. Then we got a check. I do.
Because under salary, with the salaries with the healthcare, for Sharon, Judy and the mayor, who gets healthcare? Do all three of them get healthcare?
No, Julie gets to do it with her husband.
Right,
It's just insurance gets to do it just.
right. Okay, so the salary, the healthcare line is like the $500,000 line, so that's just one person out of him is so that's just. The healthcare line for Highmark, that includes, we don't have it broke down by department, is what you're saying.
No.
So there's no way to tell who's drawing what healthcare is from what group. Like, for example, he just said he had 3 employees and he just said only one gets healthcare.
Right.
So to get that information, we have to drill down into each individual group.
I would have to drill the health insurance number down, yeah, we'd have to, I mean, I could get that done in a timely fashion, probably not. That's definitely a big lift.
Well, I guess,
But that's on the bills that we. I mean, you also gotta consider that the health insurance cost is for the retirees too. Not just after.
I guess what I'm looking, what I was looking more for, and he answered the question, so I'm done with that question, is how many part-time people in our city draw health benefits?
I can pull that out.
Okay,
pretty quickly.
I know like Judy's part-time, but she's not drawing. Right, so
Our top that are eligible for more so would be the question.
Yeah,
Not necessarily because, you know, obviously. There's unique situations, in mayor's office, but you know, had those people not been there, they wouldn't be on. Would they? I think it's more the question.
that is more the question I'm asking. It's like, for example, Judy's line, so anybody you hire,
Exactly.
John Q. Public gets a job there part-time, wouldn't be eligible. Right, okay.
I believe both attorneys get health insurance through the city, and they're both considered part-time.
Well, let me ask you that one.
Mayor technically is considered part-time.
Well, let me ask you that with the city attorney. Is the city attorney considered part-time or still because he's an elected official holdover? That's where he's eligible from.
That could be possible.
Is Reddy still a group 1 from being elected and it's still a holdover spot?
But is it still a group 1 as the appointed position too? Well, if we had a handbook, you'd have no answer. We don't have a handbook. But we, as a council, do we have input on that? I mean, if you guys say they're class 1,
They're Group A.
or Group A, not sure the terminology, get it, only seen that a few times. Can we change that? I mean, if we decide, I mean, would that be better of us cutting those? That's that back, or can we cut it per people and we can make the decision?
Take a look at it.
I mean, I would think it's like any contract, you guys ultimately approve it, so if you don't want a secretary to approve it, but to elected board. So is there a contract for the attorney and city attorney that are done? I don't wanna say contracts, we don't have employee contracts, right, yeah, but that's. But the handbook defines it, and it defines what their positions are.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, that's the good things, right?
It would be useful.
Well, I didn't see the city attorneys on this, on the schedule to come meet with us. So are you answering on the city attorney lines too?
No,
No? Was part of my questioning there was we look at the city attorney salary lines. With office and subscriptions, it comes to 102,400. And then we're paying for two healthcare plans. Adam says we're paying for the attorney and the the assistant deputy, because they're both, and he claiming they're both part-time, because
Right.
they're not being held to like the 40-hour requirement. Wouldn't we be better off just having one full-time city attorney that through health benefits and was 40 hours dedicated to the city? Had an office in the building, and we had a city attorney doing it that way. I mean, because we're outsourcing a lot to the professional services line.
Right.
When the mayor's doing the contract negotiations,
Labor.
labor, stuff like that, you're outsourcing it anyway. So at this way, with that, then you would have a city attorney dedicated to 40 hours to the city.
We'd have to appoint a city attorney too, so.
Right, well, you gotta crawl before you walk.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But, you know, I was looking at that as far as cost effectiveness and service to the community.
Right.
Because right now, I mean, I've even heard from the city attorney himself, I only work Fridays.
Right.
You can't get hold of them Monday through Thursday. And then you gotta send it to the right email on top of that. So,
And what's the outline on the civil service for that? Is that, if it's appointed, is it a full-time job?
No, it's part-time.
It is
So
still
it's
part-time.
part-time split with high school.
Split with what?
No.
No, I'm talking city attorney.
No.
City
Oh, yeah.
service, civil service.
Yeah.
No, our attorney is part-time, basically with us, 100% our.
No, but I'm just saying, is it per civil service, is that position is outlined,
No.
once it's appointed as opposed to being a holdover? Is there a set number of hours that that's supposed to be
We have
working?
to look at their memo. They sent us a memo.
I know it's been a while since I saw
We have to.
it, just thinking,
refresh.
that's something worthwhile to look at as well.
yeah,
I mean, if you're talking a full-time city attorney that needs to be appointed, then we have somebody full-time, then do we need
We'd
a,
also have to look at the charter.
Right,
well, the charter was changed with the appointment of the city attorney, and then it was defined by the Civil Service Commission after the fact, so there were still some things to question.
here's a question. Adam, are you full-time?
yes.
I wouldn't see why, if you're appointed.
Yes.
Employed,
What?
from my understanding, I got employed. through
You
civil
did,
service.
through civil
I
service.
took an exam.
Yeah.
Is that what the city attorney's gonna do too? The new city attorney? Once we don't have a holdover?
Yeah, once it's a whole.
Yeah, when the holdover's done, is that person gonna be appointed or is that person gonna have to take an exam?
Yeah, did we ever get a final ruling on that from the Civil Service?
I do not know.
And so I don't think we ever defined that in Civil Service. The Charter Revision Committee had outlined what exactly they are, who
Right.
appoints them. But then it was a bit convoluted because it was put in front of Civil Service. Civil Service made its own ruling, and then our city attorney, who was affected by it, also made a ruling on what Civil Service determined. But I don't remember if there was an actual final determination, but I guess it's a moot point because we have
It is a moot.
yet to,
Sure.
well, we yet to actually appoint.
Well, civil service
But
did
we
have
appointed a treasurer.
civil service did get an answer, because myself and the mayor had a conversation with the civil service commissioner. Who said they got back to the civil service commission here in the city and gave them their answers.
Well, the answer was that it's not a holdover anymore, that he is actually a position now, full-time position. And that the attorney would have to, if he stays and I reappoint Mike, let's say as the attorney again. My understanding is that he would have to take the civil service exam. Follow civil service law.
Which would then make them a full-time employee.
Exactly.
So they're not subject to the charter revision
No.
that made them appointed for X amount of years.
You can't find people with treasurer's background and attorney background in our city limits, so that's why we went that route. So the city was leaning there, but you can't find people.
I'm not arguing that aspect of the appointment versus the hiring. I'm saying, once we get the body in the seat, is the body gonna be able to say, well, I only work Fridays? We're doling out this kind of money on those kinds of salary lines, or is that person gonna say, I have to be in City Hall Monday to Friday, 8 to 4, or whatever the other?
Just Fridays, you send them stuff all week, I can take probably every day on things that I need. That are lighting up this, the city and concerns, so he gets them, and he answers them, such as contracts, such as, laws for, what's going on with this or that. People trying to sue us, so Mike, I'll give it to Mike and Brittany first, before I give it to, the, labor attorney. Labor only goes to the, Don.
What I'm saying is though, is you wouldn't have to do that if you were able to just walk down the hall like you do for the city clerk
Right.
or the city
Right.
treasurer. You could walk down the hall to the city attorney's office who's drawing a full-time salary with benefit package. And we're in the building with you for the same 40 hours that Adam and clerk and building inspector, everybody's here for.
So I guess what I'm asking here is, we've had this discussion about it, we're talking about the budgets and, potentially change some lines around before we finalize this. Can we get some sort of clear ruling, revisit this? Can you get us the information, service that? Because I think I remember that it was the treasurer of the city attorney was an exempt position. Which, could be 40 hours required, but if you're exempt, you could work 40, you could work 5.
So is Adam exempt?
Yes. Yeah, he's salaried.
And is that a group A or a group 1? It's
Group A from what I'm
Group
told.
A.
okay, and that's defined
Okay.
by said handbook, that's
Yep.
not ratified yet,
I'll get that answered then.
right?
Good question.
Next, I think we could make a determination on that as far as the city attorney, deputy attorney, and, if we have an appointed attorney, then if they can fulfill a certain amount of hours and a certain amount of
And
salary.
who
doesn't
draws
make-
insurance?
What's that?
And who draws health insurance?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the deputy attorney also gets health insurance, and she had that conversation about her salary line.
Got a hand up. I don't mean to cut you off. Got a hand up.
What are you thinking for a city attorney salary?
I'm not thinking anything in particular. What I'm saying is if we have a city attorney, a deputy city attorney, they're both drawing healthcare and neither one of them are here 40 hours a week. Do we have a city treasurer? Do we have a deputy city treasurer? Do they both draw healthcare? Are they both in the building 40 hours a week?
Well, the deputy city attorney is
I just don't,
a stipend.
I get the theory of getting an attorney in that would be the city attorney 40 hours a week. I don't know if you can find that person. I think would be the next challenge, just as an offering to the conversation. It's one thing to say, yeah, let's go to 40-hour city attorney, but if we're gonna pay that person 150 grand to be here for 40 hours a week, we're not any further ahead.
But we're not any further ahead as far as salary. Let's say it's a wash. We're gonna get a better quality service because we'll have that city attorney in the building 40 hours a week, working consistently with you, the mayor, the city clerk. None of this, let's chase them down, send them an email, wait for a response stuff. You would have a city attorney in an office, sitting at a desk.
And
And
you
you're
may
at
also
the
not
game
have to
on.
farm everything out.
You wouldn't have to farm as much out because when the mayor needs a legal question answered, he just walk down the hall and get that legal.
It depends,
It
are they
depends on the
specialized
issue.
in
Depends on
labor?
the legal action it is.
Are they,
That's what you
But that's-
find in the interview process.
Well, and then,
And I mean, I guess, and that's at the point too, if there's not available help here within the city limits, if there's somebody that's more qualified out of the city limits, that's when you start talking about waiving.
well, I thought they were exempt. They're
They're
exempt,
exempt from, exempt from the point of. being
exempt of
salary
civil service
versus-
taking the test.
So I'm saying exempt as far as civil service, as far as salary versus hourly.
Oh,
That's what I was thinking in that.
And ballpark, how much for outside counsel? Ball.
For, do we spend?
Yeah.
I can't pull it up. It just depends, it's a number that really ebbs and flows, obviously, it's 2024, we spent quite a bit with everything that went on labor side, 25, we've seen pretty significant decrease. But a couple $100,000. Definitely.
Rob, I'm just,
Um,
Adam, do you have an updated revenue and expenditure report for us?
Send it up.
and then Adam, continuing on your city treasurer,
Was that the one that you stepped out? So that was 2024 up to date, right? Oh, 24, sorry, not 2025.
for your professional service lines, it increased $2,800 to a total of $52,800. What is professional services under the city treasurer?
That's our audit, most of the costs, and, oh, we had to do a secondary audit, federal funding, and probably have to do again. Just to make sure we're through it. Trying to think what the other costs, but that's the big cost, is just the audit.
Okay, and I don't know if this one directed towards you, but it's not your place, city assessor, personal service. Under the city assessor, there's a reassessment project expense, it increased to $100,000, up 80,000 from last year's 20. Is that for a reassessment for 2026?
Starting at 26.
Why are we not pushing that off to 27?
The state wants us to do it every 4 years. The assessor Katie has been on a schedule for that to do it every 4 years, and that's when it starts. The majority of the work could have started at, if we have the budget room at the end of the year, they could start to work now, or work all the way through 26, wrap up early 27, take 4, the tax year after that.
Right, but if all this new development comes online in 27, the new houses up at Riverview, the building at Riverview. The smoke on the water, all these different projects, we're not gonna realize that in our assessment savings until 4 years later then? So why wouldn't we just push it off a year and do it in 27? Why?
I think that's more of an
That's a
assessor
key
question, like I
question.
said, I think. we're-
And like you said, it's the state that wants us to do it, but the town of Tonawanda hasn't done it in.
Right, it's
30
a
years.
suggestion, not a requirement. I'm just saying, to save 100,000 on the budget and to realize that savings in 2027, not savings, but the way they cut the pie up with all that new development coming in. Either the residents are gonna benefit from that until 2030, or we push this assessment off to 2027 and then do it where people would actually want an assessment
The
done.
revale is for the home, it doesn't have anything to do with the revenue from it. The
No.
revale on the home, when we did our revale, when I came in 22, we were at 60%. And then now we were up at 98, 99, now we're down to probably about 80s, high 80s. Before we get way down low again, when people are gonna go, oh my God, you're pushing me. We're gonna do it, and for every 4 years, there'll be less of a blow and put everybody on the same page.
Right, but the reassessment still does commercial properties and.
It does
business
commercials too,
properties.
yeah,
But if there's new commercial properties on the tax rolls,
it's gonna spread the.
it's gonna spread that around, and it's gonna relieve some of the tax burden from the homeowners.
Yeah.
But just based on the projects that we've discussed, that we're seeing groundbreakings for it.
Well, so
A lot of them.
Wow.
And then like St. Francis is coming online, assuming that sale gets completed. The parking lot right next to it that we've all agreed. Riverview, those are part of the house, but it's just the houses alone.
Balding, yeah, we have to close on
All in
some.
Buffalo House.
Right, so I just thought it'd make sense to push it off to 27,
I think that's where the discussion we're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
When Katie comes.
but we don't have her on the schedule.
No, yeah,
We'll bring it.
well, we can get around.
That's a good question for Katie.
Was Chief Ponce out there? Any other specific questions for the mayor and the treasurer?
I have one for the city clerk. City clerk, it says printing $3,000. Is that like physical printing this paper, or is that like printing in a newspaper? What is $3,000 printing?
I believe it's for the printer that we have in the office and the service that it receives. Is that correct, Adam? That
You're referring to the 3,000 in the council section?
Yes, common council printing.
That's for the publishing.
That's for-
But that's a publishing all your
Said-
notices, basically it's all just for official.
When, okay, so that's like if we publish like code and ordinances, stuff like that. But then we have another line, professional services, codes and ordinance revision, and that's 4,800. Went up $50.
Where are you looking at?
1425-0461.
Oh, the general fund, oh, that's the committee, that's that's one of the boards.
Ordinance Code Revision Committee?
Yeah,
It's at the Board of Appeals, right?
Board of Appeals.
No, Board of Appeals is on the back page. They're 2,300.
It's one of the boards.
Which board would this be?
Page you're on.
First page 3 of 12.
Three to all.
They're all looking at different pages.
25,046.
We're all on different pages. Dave and me are on the landscape. You guys are on portrait.
We're talking about 14.504661.
Yep, 0461, yep. Just for when they refer to page numbers, we're not on the same page numbers. But that, looking at that one there, because if you're saying it's Board of Appeals is on, I got page 13, but that Board of Appeals salaries is 2,300, so that's a separate
I
line.
don't, that's one of the
Ordinance Code Revision Committee. When do they meet? Do we have minutes for them? Like, I don't remember seeing a board called Ordinance Code Revision. It's not the Charter Revision Committee.
No.
The code updates. This vote.
Sorry, there's no comments from the public. So we'll go into that.
Code updates?
Any specific questions for the mayor or the treasurer? All right, can we call Chief Klotz? Hi, Chief.
Are you, is everyone good with with what they have there? Cause I've got
Yeah, I would love it.
Mine
You got,
is-
if you have a drill down?
it might be a little, it's.
Thank you.
Right, just pass it along, that's some. Kind of, move a little bit here and there, I don't know if it's easier for me.
Is page 2 all the positions and salaries? Yes.
Yes.
Exactly what I was looking for. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Any specific questions for the chief?
On the positions like police chief, captain, detective, lieutenant,
Yes, sir.
there's little numbers like 19, 20s. What do these numbers mean?
I have no clue.
Oh, because I'm like, you're a 19,
Because-
but the captains are a
right.
20.
But if you look for to the left,
That's the number of.
that's the number that of each each position. And what I did is broke it down to fourth, third, second, first year officers. And then it runs into dispatchers, senior, fourth year, third, second, then also part-time dispatchers. After that is holiday pay. That is, then overtime, longevity, and so on.
On the very bottom, oh, clerk type, account clerk, AC, 4th year A/C type.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my second term.
Who's the matron?
So matron is all encompassing. It encompasses several matrons throughout the year. And we have probably a list of 4 or 5 that come in when they are called. That number went up significantly because when I averaged it out, we had a large increase as far as bench warrants and holds. So it all depends on the crimes, if it's going to be orders of protection that are issued, or if they're felonies, as far as holds for the judge. So when I averaged that out, just at 8 months is where I averaged it from. That's what I came up with that number. So may not be used, but
Education training incentive? Do they get a stipend?
yeah,
And is it in their
it's
contract?
contractual.
It is, I was gonna say,
It's contractual.
If I'm counting right, there's 30,
I'm sorry.
staffing is at 30 including you?
It's at. It is now 30, including me. If I just I didn't get a chance to see the mayor, but yet today, but early this morning, I conditionally hired a lateral transfer from Middleport. So,
From where I'm.
Middleport, I believe.
All the way up there,
Yeah.
with snow belts, Bayfields and snow belt. Man.
And is that at the contract?
Yeah, he'll be at 4th year.
Right, but I mean, does that meet the contractual staffing?
Yeah, that'll put us at full 30 plus 1.
30 plus 1.
Yeah.
So on the detective line, for example,
Mhm.
3 detectives, 388,960. That is their base salary? That's not 388,960?
That would be a compilation of all 3.
All 3 of them,
detectives.
but that's just all 3 of their base salaries. That doesn't include their overtime or anything like that. Just, so I divide that number by
Right.
3 and that's how much they make?
Right.
Got it. So then.
Then overtime is lower.
Yeah.
Chief, do we still get the stop DWI grant?
No, we're not involved in that anymore.
So Chief, I bring this new guy in, your overtime's gonna go down.
We're gonna, being fully staffed at the overtime, next year, the overtime should take a humongous dive. Cause it's just been constant. I think I mentioned it to last year that the split shifts were just sick. It was just constant. It was just 12 hours. Guys said, and I kept talking to the guys trying to check morale and that, and they're like, Chief, it just is what it is. And, you know, but yeah, that should come down significantly next year. So because then, because all we're gonna be covering, you know, is you know, the PLs, the vacation, so forth. It's not gonna be staffing. And I'd have to look at it again, but the staffing itself, because everything's line by line on the overtime, and other is for short staffing. And that would just flood the sheets over the months, and you know, not much I could do about it.
If you're fully staffed at 30 with this person, you anticipate the 270,000 in overtime going down?
That's what I believe. Yeah.
And
It
you
should.
know, can you guesstimate how much?
No, I couldn't. I'd have to sit down and run the numbers.
Do you know how many hours of overtime collectively the entire department used last year?
I would have to run that number and get back to you. Yeah. If I could, I think the program I have could figure it out, so. You know.
Chief, you didn't budget any money for body cameras.
No, hold on a second. So the body worn cameras, I kind of ran into an issue last year. I took it out of the equipment out of my equipment line last year, and I couldn't figure it out. I started running towards the end of the line. I was getting close to a red on that. And I'm like, what the heck? And then when I realized, like, we had like 8 guys last year with body armor, and that's what took up a significant portion of that. And we get reimbursed for half of that through a grant, but we still have to pay all of it. Well, the other thing is that how should I say, mistook what was said by the I think it was Councilman Mylan that mentioned about the city should pay for the carriers itself. Well, unbeknownst to me, and here, you know, I'm thinking I'm gonna get a reimbursement. No, I think you meant just that should be taken out. And so that's where there was some confusion between me and Treasurer McNeil, because I'm like, am I gonna reimburse for this? And he goes, I don't, you know, I don't. And then I finally, it clicked. It meant take it out of the equipment. So what I did is, if you look down under special enforcement, I got a line 202-04. I actually put 3,700 into that because of the fact that we have, you know, this possibility of this lateral coming on also. And then also I put in there because the fact that we have 3 guys that are, you know, ready for retirement at any time, which, you know, could happen next year, might happen the year after, it might still be there at the end of the year, but I have to plan for that. But if that's what I talked to Treasurer McNeil about. I'm like, if I put that money aside in another line, it's always there. And I'm not thinking, geez, do I have enough? So that makes sense. That's why I didn't increase the line at all as far as equipment. I just kind of put it down there. So it's there, and we use it great.
Chief, there's no grants under the armor anymore?
Yeah, there is, but we only get half of it back. Yeah, so it doesn't cover, you know, quite the entire amount.
And this is just for the carriers.
No,
Right.
it's the carriers and the armor. Yeah. So that covers
Good.
that's where I guess mistook what was said, that, you know, I thought I was getting, no, it was just, you know,
No, it's just the guys that
Yeah.
are out of pocket anymore.
it's not good. Yeah. And it's just, so, yeah, we take care of the carriers, and I didn't realize, okay, yeah, you don't get it back from the city. It's coming from, so.
How many battery armors are they?
We keep track of that. So, I think next year we're only purchasing 2. Last year was a big one because we hired, and then we had guys that were expired, and that's every 5 years.
Are they fitted in size or is it a one size fits all thing?
Oh, no, they have to be fitted.
Fitted perfectly.
Yeah, yeah. So,
When people leave the department, what happens to their old vest?
they go down to the basement and, we actually, I believe it's this year that Lieutenant Levy, found a program, where we can donate them to other departments, just so they're not just destroyed and wasted. Like, we've had expired, vests in the past, and, when I was down with firearms and that, I took a vest, could have been from, Councilman Sheasley's, era. I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, it could have been from like, honestly, it could have been from like the 80s at some point. I'm just curious. So, I took it down there and fired around, and it's like, yeah, it caught it, but that doesn't mean the next one, next piece of body armor up there, because they get pretty yellowed, and the sweat itself, even getting rained on that, start to break apart the fibers. So.
Excuse me, Chief, I got one.
Sure.
Regarding words made, but
Yes, sir.
and I'm just gonna give you background here.
Mhm.
The union and the police club always put the banquet on over the course of the year. So
Okay.
I'm gonna give you an instance. I had two people walking around that they're gonna move because they can't afford taxes. For them to get a filet mignon, and I got people wanna move out of their house because they can't afford the city's.
Mhm.
I get problems with that.
Okay.
I believe the police club and the Frontier Police Club,
Mhm.
PBA should pick that back up. That's only four, I understand,
Okay.
but you understand what I'm saying?
So
We
with,
always had it.
so with that said, it's the award center is very significant. Okay. As far as the cost of it, it's picked up. Yeah, there's 4,000 contributed by the city, but there's also money that's contributed by the club, and also my wife and I contribute to it. All right. We try to make this an extremely special occasion, okay, because not only is it a morale booster, okay, and motivator, the morale booster is just not for the officers themselves. It's for the officers and their spouses on top of it, because exactly, 22 years with my wife and 2 divorces later, I see how significant this is, because we have to recognize the spouses also, because they put a lot of into this, and the marriages are extremely important, especially with a divorce rate of 60 to 75% in our field. Same thing with the suicide rate is over 50%. Okay. So I think it's extremely significant to put this on. It shows gratitude and appreciation, okay, not just to the officers, but also, to the spouses. We make a big deal of them also during this awards banquet. They just don't sit there and at the end of the night, we're done. We make, we show appreciation, gratification to them. They get roses, a nice, they get a nice dance, with the officers, their spouses and that. And it's a real, group, basically, it's a group tighter, because it is, as well as I do. It's family is what it basically comes down to. And who's there for everybody when, when there's a traumatic situation, it's family, it's the group. And so this, as far as, the cost, per resident, in all honesty, it's like 27 cents a person that's being contributed, and they're not, in this, it's not like the citizens are bearing the entire cost. It's 27 cents and we're taking care of the rest. And again, it absolutely makes a big difference. And especially when we're recognizing officers for the job that they have done throughout the year. And it gives them an opportunity to get up in front, accept an award, and their spouses they're proud of them. This is exactly why, this is why my spouse, had to take off during, little Jimmy's birthday party, or and miss this and then miss this and this holiday, and had to go to Canal Fest, so couldn't go with us on this. So I think for the amount, it's not covering the entire cost, but I think it's pretty significant, and the impact that it makes. It's literally like 800 thousandths, like 0.008 of my budget, and 100 thousandth of the overall budget.
was when people, homeowners are losing, gonna move, and they say, you're getting filled, I mean, I'll never buy that, chief, I'll never buy that, because I seen this lady cry to me 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that's pretty tough to
Oh,
buy. I've been there,
Mhm.
the club and the PBA should pick it up.
Yeah.
Pick up the whole cost, they got the
Oh,
money, they got the money to do it, we did
We'll
it
have
for
to-
20 some odd years.
Yeah.
I just can't buy that, chief, I'm
Well,
sorry.
I think there should be some input, so.
I got some
that's-
input.
Yeah.
I'd like to add some input to that.
Yes, sir.
First off, when you talk about the significance of it, the Kenton B did a story on it. Anybody see it? When it was in the Kenton B last year? It looked like prom. All the cops were dressed up.
Yep.
Beautiful suits, beautiful dresses, their spouses. And Jim, I'm not disagreeing with you, but have you guys ever heard of Op Overwatch?
Mhm.
You guys-
Yeah.
I'm not saying you.
You saw it. Guys, we're affiliated.
Down. No, I know, that's where I
Yep.
bumped into him.
Yep.
I bumped into Op Overwatch, and there's a retired FBI guy named Dave Buds who runs it. It's religious in nature. It's held at a church. And they put on everything for the police, free. And then, the Fall Fest for the kids and stuff. And the chief and I actually were there at
Mhm.
last year's,
Yep.
and we were discussing this budget line. And Jim, to your point, that resident says that they're gonna have this $4,000 on the budget line for that. Okay, no problem. I agree with you, Jim. So let's go up here to line number 2, vehicles, 96,000. It was reduced from 144 to 96 from 48.
Mhm.
Let's reduce 96 to 92, and there you go.
I can't.
You
I can't,
can't?
because I can't because that's the cost of 2 vehicles. Yeah,
What if we
2
just,
vehicles and to re-equip them.
what if we just get one vehicle and re-equip it?
Well, then, we've done that in the past though, Councilman. We've done that in the past and it ran the car into the ground and we ended up paying a lot for it as far as parts and to try to keep it running.
Okay.
I didn't get an unmarked, this year, which I did last year. I got the last 2 years, I got 2 patrols and an unmarked. I just got 2 patrols this year. That's it.
What about like equipment? 17, drop it to 16, pistol
Mm-hmm. Well-
range, I was looking at
well,
12, I looked at your actuals, are always around 10.
Well, what did you say? The what?
Like, so your
You
equipment.
just jumped to 2 lines. I'm
Well, I'm saying just if you took 1,000 off that, if you found 4 lines to take $1,000 each off of, you would meet your requirement to get the banquet and make Jim happy all at the same time.
okay, but the numbers that I ran were based on what I need for the year off of.
I was looking at
year.
like the pistol range, like you traditionally don't go over 10 grand for
Okay,
your pistol range, and you're budgeting 12. So even if you went to 11, you'd save 1,000, and you'd still probably be able to do everything you were doing.
right.
So that-
I get where you're coming from, but like I said, 12, we could,
Staffing of officers.
Yeah,
Take that
it's-
2 out of,
it's-
so.
it's gonna be an increase in ammo, as far as the pistol, line, it's gonna increase in ammo. Also, if a pistol goes down or whatever, we've got stuff in reserve, but the Hollis on sights, as Hollis on sight could go down, we gotta replace things, so.
What about
Yeah.
training?
Training, training we should never touch. And the thing is not just keep this, I just wanna real quick, training. We should have had six blocks of training this year, and because we were down personnel, we couldn't complete it all. There should have been two blocks of reality-based training, 2 blocks of firearms, 2 blocks of defensive tactics. And that doesn't include the legal issues, other requirements by the state. So yeah, we actually will get 3 blocks, 1 of each done this year because we're short personnel, but that needs to be increased because obviously, repetition is what's going to induce muscle memory. So then we have guys on the street and they're operating, at a high intensity. They're just relying on muscle memory to whether they got to draw their gun, whether they got to incorporate defensive tactics. Again, reality-based training is scenario-based. So training is extremely important. One lawsuit in itself, out of court settlement, easily would be like $50,000. So that's a liability.
Well, the only reason I ask is because you originally budgeted, sorry, Dave, you originally budgeted 10 in 23, then increased it to 30. I don't know if that was it. You went
No,
to 23?
I came on into,
Yeah, it was 10, then it went up to 30, then back down to 20.
right.
And I'm trying to pull the actual, we have the actuals
Right.
somewhere in here, right here. Your actuals for the last 3 years were 14,000, 12,000, and 13,000.
Right, and keeping in mind that we were short-staffed, so being able to incorporate the amount of training that would actually be significant and it can keep the officers at a high efficiency, it has to be increased. So that's why, yeah, it's 20,000.
But even when it was 30,000, you guys didn't even come close.
Yeah, but that was my first budget and I needed to increase. I didn't know how much I would actually use as far as the training. So I increased it to 30, but then it dropped to 20. Because you actually said to me that 30,000, that's just way too much. 30,000 is too much. And at the end of the year, when I looked at it, I'm like, no, you're right, and drop it to 20.
Well, so my point is to Jim, that, and above all your budget lines, salary lines, the overtime gap on the back of the 270, you can't find $3,000 to $4,000 anywhere in this budget to make that a wash line on that work banquet?
Well, I already took 49,700 decrease out of out of
Over the whole budget.
the entire line, the overall budget.
Well,
To 49,700.
I want to see Jim be happy, but at the same time, I like I said, I'm a believer in that.
Mhm.
Kind of like what medical insurance is doing nowadays. They're doing preventative care. Before you used to go to the doctor and they say, "Oh, you're not sick. We ain't paying for it." Now they want you to go for preventative care. This is almost equivalent to preventative care. Having the sports banquet, right? Like you said, morale and everything.
Well, it's a wellness thing too,
Well,
the
yeah,
mental, physical wellness of not only of our officers, but also,
Do you have a wellness line?
No, we don't have a wellness line,
Where's the
I haven't-
Fire has the wellness line.
but yeah, but I have.
Fire has health and wellness.
Right, but I have incorporated, this, I know honestly, this is part of our, our wellness, initiative. There's this, I have, something set up with, Op Overwatch now, that if on every quarter, if an officer, wants to attend one of the OTR sessions,
Mhm.
they get 3 hours AT to attend it. If they need more, they can.
What's
they can
AT?
come service.
So what's AT?
Comp time. 3 hours comp time.
They go on the clock, you're saying?
No,
Oh.
they go off duty, they get
Okay.
3 hours, they
Of
get.
comp
and the
time for
18
attendance,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
attendance,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, and that's like,
From the. Oh, what was it, police, Governor Cuomo, we did the police review commission, police reform commission,
Mhm.
thank you, sorry,
Yeah.
it's late.
no,
The police reform commission, a lot
Yeah.
of the recommendations based on that.
right. So this, in all honesty, yeah, this is part of that initiative. It's, divorce is significant, suicide is significant. This is an opportunity where officers, you can put their guard down, the businesses, we still had, JJ Richard every year, he's in the city. We always do the, Pelosi Pavilion, so that's money that, the city's, getting back. And,
pay for
it's, I pay for
I
it.
gave it to one.
Not out of my budget, it's not paid out of the budget, so, yeah,
It's a city building.
yeah, but
So the
Would you
city,
do-
so the city agency goes to the city building and pays for.
it's all right, it's all right.
This doesn't make any sense.
It's all right. But, yeah, it's significant. It really is. And it is part of the, wellness initiative. And again, we're not asking for the entire amount. I'm not asking for the entire amount. The club puts money into it. My wife and I put money into it.
How many of your officers take you up on the Op Overwatch? You said you give them the comp time if they go. How many of them actually take you up on the offer?
What's that now?
How many of them actually take?
I
you up?
just initiated
Oh, you
that
just
within
started?
the last month. Yeah, because it was after the, when we were there, for the Fall Fest.
Of this year's
Yeah,
fall, but
yeah,
you did it
yeah.
earlier.
Fall Fest,
December, yeah.
we started talking, I've been going there for chiefs and sheriffs meetings and that's where I found out about, some of the, this type of initiative that other departments, are putting on. And I think it's extremely important to.
I think it's
put that out
extremely
there.
important too to get them out
And,
there.
yeah,
Absolutely.
And whether they go or not, so they're on initiative, I'm not gonna force.
Well, you're not
them.
forcing, yeah, you're giving them
Mhm.
the free passage
Yeah.
to make their choice, absolutely.
yeah.
And I think that's what Dave wants out there, is he doesn't want anybody forced to be there.
No, and it goes very well, and,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So really quickly, just, you
Yes, sir.
mentioned there's 2 blocks of firearms training. 2
Yeah.
blocks of reality-based training,
Yes, sir.
and I missed the third, 2 blocks.
Defensive tactics, yeah. Yeah, that's something that we just incorporated, within the last couple of years. Yeah, those are the 3, practical blocks that are extremely important.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What do they do the DT? They have like a dojo or something?
No, we actually, we pull everything out of the URT garage on the left side. And the school's been, very generous. They've allowed us to use their mats, their wrestling mats. They had like, I think they have like an extra set or 2 up there. So we roll those out in the garage and we use the, left half of the URT. building.
Do they bill you for the garage?
No. Bill ourselves.
Never know the way this went, and then
Yeah, it's okay.
you would figure out, you would figure you could use the Pelosi Pavilion to go use your DT training and
Yeah.
roll out the mats. It'd be a big open room. Like,
Yeah.
it's a city building. You would
Yeah.
think,
It's okay.
okay.
It's okay.
Any other questions for the chief?
It's all, thank you.
So,
Thanks, chief.
Good budget.
Okay.
Thank you.
all right, no, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You keep these?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I hope I do all over it.
No, it's
Well, me too, but I-
Development, what's on it?
I bet you have dots all over it too.
No,
it's got it over there. Don't worry, I'm not
Do I
letting you
need
down.
to stick around?
You're very nice caricature of that.
We'll let you know. Your liaison will let you know.
No, I meant if, do you need me to stick around tonight? Like,
No.
Okay, that's all.
No.
Okay,
No, if you
All
have
right.
any other questions, your liaison will be in touch.
okay. All right,
All right.
thank you.
I appreciate
you. Hi, chief, come on up.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Chief.
Right. I made a couple of small adjustments, so I'll pass it around to you guys. It's mainly under the volunteer line, a couple $1,000 increase. And what- you know? Hello? There you go.
Any specific questions for the chief?
How's the purchase of the truck coming along? Is it on its way?
The engine?
Yeah.
Melly gave me an update because he's been the one spearheading that. It should be ready late next year.
Oh,
That's what
nice.
they're looking at, yeah.
Okay. Wow, a whole nother year.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
When you
it's-
think about it.
2 to 3 years for an engine, 3 to 4 for a ladder truck. That's the standard these
Yeah.
days.
And no chance of getting it red. It's
No,
gotta be out.
no.
Just had to ask.
They all say that too,
I just had to ask.
Why are they yellow? Any particular reason?
because the paint was cheap back in the 1920s.
Is it really so much?
That's the story I got when I started.
Just a quick question to clarify your salary line, comparatively to other ones with union contracts, yours is up about 9%, whereas the rest are in line with the.
Yes, so if you look at the salary line, it was a 5% increase in the contract next year. Also, accumulated comp time used to have its own separate line.
Okay.
That was put into salaries at the request of, or during a discussion we had with the treasurer. So that's 92,000. The other thing was the MERP, which is, let me make sure I get the acronym right, Medical Expense Reimbursement Plan. That was something we negotiated in the last contract, like my HSA and retirement. That was another 33, so you got 125 grand there.
So that's all bundled. So
Yeah, it's all bundled in the salary now, yes.
that makes sense.
About the 20,000 jump in the vehicle, what's that for?
Yes,
Just the,
so.
put in the fund?
Chief McNulty had a timeline and we were scheduled to replace our UTV, like our small special events vehicle in 25. 26 was gonna be our pickup truck and car 12, the chief's vehicle. So I went to the DPW, I spoke to Jim Kramer, lead mechanic, had him assess all three. He said the pickup and the chief's car, we can push it down the road a couple years, but the UTV, it's a CF Moto, it's like a first generation CF Moto, they can't get parts for it anymore.
Thank you.
How did we end up with a CF Moto?
So the guys who were making the purchases in 2010 or 2011 decided to go with.
Wouldn't that be under some kind of like bidding process or going to like cheapest bidder or something? Like you
I
just
don't know.
randomly,
I was a newer guy.
I know, I
what
figured,
process they
but-
followed.
Is that all?
It's, yeah, 2010 or 11, yeah. But it's the drive shaft shot, the brakes. and all.
I'm surprised it lasts that long.
Yeah.
We talked about replacing it. Way back when.
Mhm.
One of my locals, the guy, Harley dealer over on
The what?
Gastown, he dealt in CF Motor, because I bought them
Yeah.
years ago.
Is yours still running?
No.
If you say.
No,
Why did they bring it up?
it's gone. That's why we probably did, buy it from somebody local.
Do you know what your 20,000 in health and wellness covers?
Yes, so that's for the career end. physicals, and all the ancillary things with the physicals, chest x-rays, EKGs, mask fit tests, our random drug and alcohol testing, psych exams for new recruits or promotions, and return to work exams.
Is that after injury?
Yes. And the numbers need to be adjusted. I'm still figuring out the cost of everything here. But I had to go for a psych exam going to chief, and I believe the bill was $1,100. So, but they probably washed with something else in that section.
Is that a requirement?
I think it is.
For every promotion, we send them for recycling? Did the police do that too?
Rehires, yeah.
No, not the new hires. I'm saying for promotion. What about if we go from lieutenant to captain?
I think it's just for
I
chief.
think it's just for chief.
Yeah. And I'm one of the few remaining that never had it at hiring. They started that in 2008, I believe.
Boy, was I lucky. You're not supposed to say that.
He's retired. They can't take his pension. 31 days after, he can say whatever he wants. Awards, 3,500. That's new this year.
Yeah, that's something our guys were have been requesting for a few years, along the same lines of what Chief Clance was mentioning. But we had a department head meeting this morning, and Mr. Pena mentioned that might go against some state legislation. I don't remember the exact detail, but
City clerk, if you could say.
I was at a municipal clerks meeting last week. And there was discussion about food and beverages, refreshments, special dinners for city paid employees. And that's not allowed by New York state law for the comptroller and other citations of law in New York state.
That applies to the police.
I was gonna say, would that apply to the police too? This is applying to
he
everyone.
wasn't at the meeting this morning.
Information, I passed it on, so I could say exactly who it pertains to, or, and the breadth of it, but. From my
Who did you pass
understanding,
it on to?
I just found out today, so
Oh, okay. We
should
should talk to the city attorney.
I already been out to them.
Okay, all right.
So we would find out the funding if we wanted to do that.
So check with the city attorney and.
Well, we just spent five or 10 minutes on the police department one, and then
He wasn't at the meeting this morning.
and then we just
Yeah.
get this. So now,
It used to be like if you were a vendor. Or like I know as a teacher, we can't take more than $75 if we go somewhere as a vet, it's down to like $20 now. But you can't take a gift in that amount.
yeah,
So I'm wondering if that's what they're referring to.
and it's got to be a pen, a plaque, or if
But
it's
it
a
was
watch,
from-
it's less than
Let's say
75.
it was from, I don't know, Frank Later. Cause they wanted you to, bid out a new engine with them,
Mhm.
and they gave him a dinner. That would be.
Oh, and it's got to be under the certain cap or whatever.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
It has
an
to be
ethics,
proper.
board of ethics.
So that may be what,
You can maybe ask our board of ethics then.
that's what it kind of sounds.
Okay, so
It's
we,
in question. You
it's in question.
definitely gotta find out who
Okay.
that is.
So assuming it wasn't in question, is that, what's the plan for the 3,500? And like the police, we've beaten up pretty in detail. We know what they do with it, how they do it, where they do it, who they use.
It was the same rationale. I was thinking the pavilion would pay for the cost of that. Probably, a small dinner or dinners or something like that, and similar reasons.
Is
It's,
it also supplemented by union as well, or is this just? a plan?
that was just, this is a starting point, because we've never really done this before.
Chief, where are the volunteers? What we give them 75 or 76, 700 a year?
Yeah, what page are you on?
Well, I'm
It's
on-
under, it's in a different.
Yeah.
It's in a different
budget
category.
line.
Okay, volunteers services.
Yeah, and then it's contractual contracts, 30,000 divided by 4, and that's your 7,500 a month.
Mhm.
It's maintenance of contract. Okay, I see, but it says maintenance contract.
Correct.
That's why
It's because we don't have a volunteer, we enter into contracts with the
Yeah,
volunteers.
right.
So that's why it's the maintenance of their contract. It's 30,000.
ongoing investigation, it's like I said, we can't say anything yet.
I know, I understand, but
Yep.
because we're gonna have to write that contract off.
That's not, but when do we do, city treasurer, do we do it in January 1 or April 1 for the volunteers when we enter?
It was April.
Right,
It was April.
so we're budgeting for 4 companies.
Right.
And we have until March 31st to
To make a decision.
make any decisions on,
We should know by the end of this month.
yes, so.
Technically, get back to you.
So I looked into those lines too. My question is, you did present this to us, you said there was a last minute change. Your original went up 2,850, and now it looks like it went up another 2,000.
Yes.
So what was the other, what's the?
So there was two things. First off, the cable bill, which Mr. Sheasley asked about at the last few council meetings. I put that in the volunteer line under building. So that was 2,400, I believe.
Building maintenance 2,400.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the original 2,850.
Yes.
And what about
So,
this change?
but I also added, in the last couple of days, we are trying something that probably hasn't been done since the 80s, where we are trying to train a group of new volunteers in-house. We have 6. They seem like good younger guys. Our career guys, some of whom are state instructors, are doing the training. If they all make it through, we're gonna need gear, which wasn't even reflected in this, but I was looking more at the OSHA physicals, and that type of thing, clothing, uniforms, that type of stuff is the 2,000 or roughly increase that I added saying
But
yesterday.
turnout gear, how much that costs, say,
First,
Matt?
for a set of turnout gear, it's about $5,500 now.
Okay, good.
It's 42 just for the
Volunteer,
pants and
that's all.
coat and then boots and everything else. Yeah.
Cause a lot of those guys are getting old.
The volunteers?
No, hey,
So with these group of 6 that you would try to run your own academy on, volunteer academy,
Yes.
once they were certified, they would be able to do interior fire, exterior
They're just
fire,
doing exterior fire at this point.
but they can still hold the hoses and do all that wonderful stuff?
Yes.
And they would also supplement the other volunteers that are there for like Red Cross or what do they call it? What do they call it?
Like rehab or.
Rehab, yeah,
Yeah.
rehab, stuff like that. So
Now, these would be actual firefighters. We have currently in the volunteers 2 interior certified firefighters and 4 or 5 exterior.
okay, and then
So-
plus the rehab people,
Yes.
Plus
And the
rehab.
fire
plus
police.
fire police that shut down the road.
Yes.
I mean, I beat this up pretty bad 2 years ago, so I think I know most of my answers, so I don't need to go in depth on the volunteer service if anybody else has anything else.
Dave and I have a few years.
What happened?
Dave and I have a few years.
A few years in, yeah, I mean, I went through it, and we went through it, we brought all the company heads, oh, you weren't here for that, we brought
No.
all the volunteer heads in and we had discussions and.
they
You know,
wanted a piece of my head.
they wanted a piece of everybody,
I
listen.
met with the 4 presidents of the volunteer companies a couple weeks ago, and they explained to me that they want their day to talk to you guys and explain their budget, their $7,500. And so I left it in there for now. I'm not gonna,
I don't think that day is gonna come. I think we nipped that into the bud last year when we asked for the itemized bills and they gave them to us.
Yeah.
And we read them and
Okay.
we were satisfied. So I mean, you could tell them, you can go back and tell them
Alright.
if the time comes, we will, but well, first off, we gotta see who sits on the council. Cause that
Exactly.
conversation is in 2026.
Yeah.
And you don't know, we already know these 2 aren't gonna be here. So that's a whole different conversation in the future.
Mhm.
But, yeah, so I mean, we're gonna leave, at least I would say, I'm gonna not advocate to move anything in the volunteer service lines. So,
I'm just the one accountability for what they have in receipts.
we got that last year.
No, we had totals of what they spent. We got no receipts.
Which I do before we go.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, it's just the receipts and.
Right.
And that thought process at the time was given to Adam writes a check to go
That
wherever,
would be reimbursed.
reimbursed, yeah, which is not a bad thought, because. We have a problem, we don't know. Or do, down the road,
I think that's a January 1st
yeah. right.
conversation we had
You and I
by,
will argue then, so stop it,
okay.
no, I
So-
understand.
So then back to your, equipment. Your equipment line is 98,600. Sorry, what?
No, I was answering Dave's question.
Sorry. What was the question?
Yes.
Not on fire? Okay, so 98,600 on equipment. It's an increase of $6,700. But what kind of equipment is this for 98,600 that it's a reoccurring cost every year of about 90,000?
So that's turnout gear. NFPA mandates that we replace people's turnout gear every 10 years. They did come out with some revisions recently where I was an assistant chief for the last 6 years. I didn't need new turnout gear after 10 years. I could stretch that. So they're easing on that a little bit, but for the guys going inside doing all the work, you need to replace that stuff sometimes.
Yep.
Radios. we got the grant, that should help with that. SCBA's, we're buying 3 or 4 new air packs every year. There's a cost, those are 10 grand a piece. There's,
I remember talking to Bill Conrad, the local assembly member, and he said he was giving money to the fire department. Is that what,
Yes.
is that for the radio? That's the radios?
That's the
And
radios.
CBs, the C, air packs. you just said.
SCB, no, it's radios, some building upgrades, and there was a flagpole for the pavilion.
But that was to replace all the radios.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's to bring them up to the new standard.
That's all moving forward. We didn't get it.
Yeah, we haven't, they're being programmed.
Yeah, the digital can talk to other
And that
departments,
makes
stuff
them
like that.
compatible with.
They meet the standard now where they're tested to stand up certain levels of heat, water damage, that type of stuff. We have them in our possession. They sound really good.
Good.
We're getting them programmed as we speak.
The digital basin play now or no?
That's the station?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're all digital here. And
They're not-
44.
they're different from what they have, what police buy. I don't believe they are actually digital. I think there's,
Analog.
yeah, I think Josh Lapham was running with that program and he went through all the specs and looked at all the possibilities.
They're safe.
Fire prevention,
Mhm.
5,300, is that state mandated? Fire prevention line?
With the education for schools.
It's that.
Yeah.
The inspections themselves are mandated, yes.
But we make money on the inspections, we charge.
You
for
make
it,
some
right?
money, yes.
So the 5,300 that we're paying out for fire prevention,
That's kind of washing. We brought in. No, we brought in to date for the year about 2,500
in
inspections,
inspection fees, or is that fines too, or
inspection fees, yeah.
do we do fines? You
I
guys
think that
fine
gets
people?
kicked up to Eric.
Oh, so if there's a violation, so you guys go out and do an initial inspection, Bill, but then if there's a violation, it goes to Eric, not the fire
It
department?
goes to our fire prevention officer,
Was that Lenny?
yes,
So-
but I don't think he can levy fines.
Oh, Lenny can't let, so Lenny would say, oh, here we go, okay.
The fire, the inspections, the
Yeah.
revenue line is separately budgeted from the outside.
For coming in,
Yeah.
right, but I'm saying, if we're paying 5,300 out. What are we getting besides some stickers and coloring books?
So we're getting stickers and coloring books. The,
I got some of them, I got
Yeah.
a plastic hat that goes
they're
with
nice,
it.
aren't they? The program that we have to use, that comes to about $1,500, codes access. The materials are about $2,000 for all the schools.
Yeah.
And some extras when we do firehouse tours and different fairs and stuff, we buy extra stuff to hand out, demonstrations, that type of thing.
Okay. And emergency management falls under you too?
Yes,
So it's,
I didn't touch that line.
well, I dropped 20,000, so I was wondering if you knew
I
why.
got a the old dog catcher's car last year, I believe. Was the
Oh.
reason.
Oh,
That was what the 20 grand was.
is now the emergency management person get one of those new radios so they can talk to everybody?
I don't know if to get one of the new ones, but they're getting the radio.
Okay. No,
They might get one of the hand-me-downs.
okay. All right. Oh. Building, fire, fund care of building equipment. It says the maintenance on your building is $54,000 a year. And then your maintenance contracts is 21,000 a year, so you're spending $75,000 a year to maintain the building and the contracts?
The contracts are copiers, internet, UNS, which does our HVAC and all that stuff. There's a FM communications with Tangents, our radio. There's a maintenance fee there.
Okay,
Exterminator.
that's what the
That's the
contract.
contracts, yes.
And then what's the maintenance buildings above it for 54,000?
It's an old building, it's general maintenance costs, I have in here, 4,000 for HVAC repairs, 6,000 for door repairs. Hopefully not all of this gets used. But we've got a budget for general wear and tear, accidents, things like that. General maintenance.
Roof repair?
We got a new roof 9 years ago, so we should be good. Hopefully for a little while with the roof. But I mean, Headquarters was built in the sixties, engine three was built in the thirties. There's gonna be maintenance.
I'm gonna ask you that one. Let's pull that elephant out here. What if they combine both the buildings into one?
We're not gonna fit everything. We just put an addition on headquarters if you want to do that.
That was talked years ago, because they took down that 3-story building, so.
Yeah,
You know.
I lived there as a kid. Yeah.
Just not kidding.
So you're saying at first there's no cost savings because if you got rid of the Wheeler, what is it? That's what you call it?
Niagara's.
Niagara?
Niagara Hose, yeah.
If you closed that building, brought it over to headquarters, you'd have to build the bays on the side where that vacant lot is,
Yes.
so you're already in more money.
Yeah.
So there's,
Chief McNulty had some estimates, anywhere from 3.5 to 5 million to do that.
yeah, but you're not, but selling the Wheeler property is not gonna
It's
bring.
not gonna bring
3
that, no.
million, no.
If you built out, would you fit all the equipment? You build all the
It
equipment?
still would be tight. You
Well,
know,
you put one more engine in there, right?
but then
The
you-
building, if you went from there to the sidewalk on Fletcher.
we have plans from when I started back in 2006 where it'd be 2 stories, you'd add on like a training room, a rec room, or a workout area. They had it all spec'd out. But yeah, engine three, you still have to fit the service vehicles in there.
But
It'd do a
regardless,
little bit, it'd be
you're
tight.
saying the cost savings from getting rid of Wheeler and bring it over there,
There's not really any savings there.
it's still a loss. I'm just trying to spitball ideas, not
Yeah.
trying to save money, but like,
Long-term savings.
Down the
but
road,
there,
yeah.
but where's the long-term savings?
Gonna put a property on the tax rolls, you're gonna get that long-term savings, you're moving everything to one location, you're not paying for the amount of staffing to cover both places. You have to have an extra person over there, your utilities, your costs, there's intangibles.
I mean,
Yeah.
your gas, your electric still goes up at the next location from bringing on the extra
But
people.
you're also looking at
The
a
Wheeler
place
place isn't, you're not
You're
gonna
also
hold,
looking at a place that headquarters could use some improvements.
yeah,
And you bundle
but
that into that, you get the gym, you get a workout area for the guys. You get a training room over there, and then you circle back to the other side and start remodeling and fixing up that stuff and right then.
if we need a grant or something, because even if you bulldozed the Wheeler house and sold it, what are you gonna build, 2 houses there? Like, it's not a huge it's not like when Riverview was sold and the guy said, I'm putting 15 houses here. So,
Maybe 3 lots.
yeah, at the most, so again, it's not a
Like
lucrative.
the pool, like that, put the plan into place, you have it actually spec'd out, and then you can start seeking grant money from the state, from the government. That's a different side argument.
I know, but I'm
You're
saying,
next year.
but I'm saying as far as a budget is concerned,
Be that way.
you're lowering the cost of these things if we were to do that, but then in the actuality, we're just taking on more money in the different locations. From the left hand to the right hand, we're not saving it.
Chief, I kind of vaguely recall last year around this time. We were doing the budget hearing. And we talked about the fire investigations
Okay,
and turning that into a revenue source. I mean, obviously you weren't at the table at the
that was
time,
not stated
but,
this time.
is there an opportunity there?
We have 4 fully certified fire investigators. Denny's actually one of the leads. I don't know if I'd have to look and see what potential revenue could be brought in off of that.
I thought we increased our cost, but we did.
Especially through the insurance
Cost recovery,
companies.
there was cost recovery.
So with cost recovery program, which we do for car accidents and that, we can
Increase the,
we can add a cost to the homeowner's insurance
Right.
for a fire,
Okay,
which it would never be billed to the homeowner. It would just go against insurance, which we're already
Right.
doing.
Okay.
We're writing for that already.
okay.
and we increased the fees for the vehicle,
I believe so, yeah.
that was last year as well.
Oh, I thought it was longer.
No, that was good.
I think it was just last year.
Various reasons, how that two million.
Type of things into the-
All that's what that be, I'm working to.
It's our budget for chairs in this room.
What are you worried about?
Bring your own chair, Dave.
Gotta start by.
Are we doing like the
It's
Senate
good
and the
for
Assembly, and when
attendance.
they're done, we give them their chair to take home with them?
You could not pay me to take this chair out.
That's good.
I got
for
enough
their
chairs.
backs. You got nothing.
I have all my questions answered.
Good.
Anything else? Thanks, chief.
Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I have a question, who runs under the general fund that they have in the memorial? Well, I just see here, the Memorial Day observance, we're paying $1,900, what are we paying for Memorial Day?
That's the flag.
Flags.
Just the,
Flags for what flags?
we buy a bunch of flags from one of the Legion.
Yes.
For the great
Yeah.
flag.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
that's
We split the cost.
Then, yeah, we write it to the Legion.
No, I think it's.
Absolutely.
I also haven't seen anything in here for cemetery, homeless coalition, is that in here?
Yeah, they're in here.
That is under engineering improvements. You got your city cemetery.
I moved on to the engineer line. Remember there was a discussion?
I think there was a question about why are these
Why-
all under the engineering?
Right.
I think we simple change we made, we made it all count at once. No, like, if you look at, at least what I'm. It should be 50 point council improvements now.
Oh, okay.
It's council type project, it didn't, the numbering didn't change, it was a main and obviously, the language. Like, but it's changed for everybody else.
I'm sorry, what?
The 50-20 line is called council. It's between engineering and council type projects.
So under solar panel project Wales Ave landfill, why is it $100,000 reoccurring cost?
Every year for 20 years.
We pay them $100,000 to have solar panels there? What do we do with the solar panels? We sell the electric?
We're supposed to have the electric, it doesn't cover our costs. We don't even make any money.
We're not breaking
We're not
even.
even breaking even.
Maybe a penny. I think we did this whole assessment.
I can't break the contract.
And it was a
so it's
penny.
signed way before us. So what I was looking at, and since we've got that well site empty, is what's the cost of bringing somebody else on site and selling them or renting them land to put more solar panels, but them, not us. So we would get least from the land that's there. We're not using it for anything. We can't use
Great
it.
idea.
So we're looking into that also.
It's a great idea.
Carl was so hot about that.
Oh, that's a bad decision.
Yeah.
He was so hot.
But that's.
Hot, so they wanted it?
Just, no,
No.
Yes.
just the cost of this and, you know, we just.
That was the rage of the age though. You know, everybody says solar panels are gonna save you money. Over a long period of time, it's good money.
Carl was on 22-23. This is recent.
I know.
And those solar panels are already out of date? They're that old already? They're not producing electric?
Not that they're out of
It's
date.
not.
No,
Just, my understanding was the projected costs of electricity and how they were supposed to go out with the cities to save money, just haven't met.
Yeah.
The cost of electricity hasn't gone up as high as they.
It would be saving us money if the cost of
Electricity goes up.
Exactly, we would see the savings, if there's a huge spike in electricity, you almost start seeing the savings, because we don't see that spike in electricity, we don't see the savings.
But now comes the concern of the availability of the age of the equipment. Now it's gonna be less effective.
Yeah.
That's what we're running into as we get older and older. Yeah, this is.
All right, are we ready to call up Dave? I know he's here a little bit early.
Anything to be done early.
All right.
Oh,
Fine.
I agree.
How's it going?
It is.
Dave, thanks for coming.
No problem.
No handouts for us.
No. Just figured if you got some questions, shoot them at me. I'll do my best to answer them.
All right. Anyone have any specific questions?
Are you gonna answer parks also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got a question about these cameras. Sure, $50,000 at it.
For the community parks cameras.
Yeah,
I was looking at that too.
you know, and it just, you're not gonna use them or put them out there. Why are we watching?
No, see, that's still in the council improvement line, you're still working on.
Yes.
You're looking at, that's a project that, IT has been pursuing with going on, so next cameras that's gone up, this building, the cameras that have gone up downtown.
What,
There's
what does
cameras
it
that have
cost
gone
us
up.
then? It's like 2 years ago. What I mean, if it's 50,000, doesn't
So I think the idea on this project is if it's costing us more, then we buy less cameras. If it's costing us less, then we buy more cameras. You know what I mean? So maybe years ago, we bought 10 cameras for 50 grand, and now we're only buying 8 for 50. You know what I mean? The budget's still there. We're just doing basically kind of like how the sidewalks are done. Sidewalks are done, you know, given a budgeted price. You know, once we get our price per square,
Seems
then
like
we
one-
maximize the whole, you know, we do as many as we can with that price per square.
I understand that, but I mean, if we have the parks covered, we have this covered, that. Where else do we need a camera?
I think a lot of the parks on it, like, I think the downtown,
parks
in this,
don't even have
in this part.
I'm just saying.
Like this end of
Just
the
doesn't
Isle
make
Park,
sense. Let's get it done
you know,
now.
around City Hall is covered, I don't know that the rest, you know, it's. You know, we might
Yes,
have
I know
to
they
have,
did.
we might have to have IT come into one.
You know, they finally did the senior center last year.
But
Yeah,
exactly,
well-
that's
Well,
out
we
of
get
this,
to the-
that's out of this same one.
Right,
But
but I
it's
still
called
think,
community parks, but it's just community, you know, basically any camera the city puts up around the city, you know. I think there's been some damage done in Easton.
Yeah, we talked about putting it up
The
Broad and
broad
Morgan.
that people
Yeah.
talk about.
Parks and City, you know,
Oh, Morgan Street.
Broad and Morgan. That's what initiated
Yeah, because there's some bad. ones.
And the bathroom was.
So-
in Easter.
it was just weird that 50 the year. If you come to completion of it. The project,
Then you're circling back to fix the ones.
Yeah, fix the original.
I just had a quick question, Dave. Did the cost, I see you have budgeted 100 grand for salt. Did the cost go up this year?
Way up.
Way up?
Went from $43 a ton to 57 a ton.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are you able to? I think there was a question about availability last year.
So last year they had a couple like problems up at the quarry,
Yeah.
so it took longer for us to get salt. We're going into this winter season with 700 ton stockpile from last year. So we got that at the $43 a ton rate. So hopefully we won't have to buy any more this year. Kind of depends on weather.
Is that the
But-
county rate or the state?
County rate.
But didn't we?
Cause I know there was savings there last year.
Yeah, the year before was 46 a ton. Then American Rock Salt came in last year at 43 a ton. This year they came in still the cheapest, but 57.75 a ton to be exact.
No roasted up.
Yeah. Everyone else is more expensive.
I thought we were getting it from Canada too for a while.
We had the
Something-
availability.
At one
A couple years ago, there was.
Yeah.
Something with the vendor.
Early rate, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
we
hope don't
saved
need
it.
Yeah.
24, 23, we paid 71,786, 24, we paid 37,718. Is that
Yeah.
because we didn't buy enough or we just got a good deal on it?
Probably just a better deal.
Carry it.
Yeah. That or they could have been, I think that year, 24 into 25, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 23, the actual was 71 and 24 was 37.
Yeah, so we had an abundance that year. We had our salt barn full and then we ended up filling 2 of our outside bins and had to cover them with tarps because we just had so much left over.
Gotcha.
We have to buy a certain amount. Like when I tell the county I want 2,000 ton, I have to buy at least 80% of that.
That's
Doesn't go bad.
No.
And then on the salary line for snow and ice, did you get somebody, a new hire in there?
No, that is what we use for overtime.
So you're anticipating a bad winter.
You never know.
The almanac,
Yeah.
Well, we gotta pay for this at some. Yeah. I didn't have anything else. Anybody?
So I got a question. The electric traffic central system, the city garage, and the recreation parks department, are those all 3 in the same over at Fillmore?
Say that again.
Electric traffic central system. They got their own budget line.
Yeah.
Then the budget line is 3310. And then it has all the sub numbers under it. It's the 3310 line. Okay, then you got city garage.
Yep.
And that is, if you guys don't know that one. Which one's that, I'm sorry?
5132.
5132 is city garage. And then we also have recreation and parks department.
Yeah, so city garage and Parks and Rec is the same building. The Signal building's on the same property, but it is a separate building.
Okay. So So they have City Garage and Parks and Rec are the same building?
Same building.
But they break their electric bills down separately, 31,000, we spent $51,000 in electric for the two of them combined. But they,
I can't control.
but do
National
they
Grid,
have
so
two separate meters?
I don't know the answer to that. I can get you that answer tomorrow.
I was just wondering, because they have a City Garage line of 31,000 for electric and a Parks and Rec line for 20,000 in electric. If we're under two separate budget lines, you would assume they had two separate meters, but it's all in one building. It's all 150 Fillmore.
Yeah.
And then, because it's the same thing with gas, City Garage is 12,000, Parks and Rec is 0. So I'm assuming the gas is for the same Parks and Rec and City Garage, because an electric traffic central systems has a gas of 1,100. So that's probably a separate meter.
Yeah,
It's a separate
that is
bill.
a separate
So
bill.
their electric, gas and water is all separate, because it's the same thing with the City Garage and the Parks and Rec. City Garage spent 7,000 on water, and then Parks and Rec spent 18,000 on water. But if it's in the same building, wouldn't it, that's $25,000 on water, but do we have two separate water meters?
I think the Parks and Rec one is like the electric for the other, yeah, the parks, the other park buildings.
Eastern.
Yeah.
Are those all metered then?
Oh, yeah.
They're all metered?
Water.
You know, there's electric in all the parks.
Right.
Boathouse has, or Harvard House has electric.
Okay, because the only one that's carved out is Kohler Pool. They have their own carve out.
Right.
And then evidently the,
Cause they're that more expensive than it.
right, and then the signal systems, but that's because it's saying it's a separate building on the same property. Okay, and then getting back to funds, electric, traffic, signal, paint products, says $15,000.
Yep.
So that is, what kind of paint is that?
All the paint for the roads.
Who painted Delton? That's a private company, right?
No.
Our guys did that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm putting in for a new machine too.
Oh, okay. So you
The
know,
machine sucks.
you know where I'm going with that, you know, okay.
Our current machine's not made for striping roads like that. It's made for like doing stop bars and parking lots.
Oh, short distance, it's
Yeah.
not made to go, because
No.
Delton doesn't have any breaks in it.
Yeah.
It goes from one to the end of the other,
Exactly.
non-stop 2 lines and
Yeah. And then once you run out of your 5 gallons, you gotta reset.
pour it.
You'll see like the explosion of paint and they keep going.
Okay,
Hopefully you can line it up exactly. The new machine I'm putting in for holds 15 gallons of paint, so hopefully it goes a lot further.
okay. Under highway office personnel service, there's just a line called medical. It's $2,000 every year. Only 4 lines there, 5 lines, salary, office, telephone, medical, and membership dues. Evidently we spend the 2,000 for medical. What is medical?
You know what that would be? No.
Maybe your drug testing.
That's the-
Oh,
that's-
yeah,
Oh, fit test?
drug test.
Oh, drug test,
Yeah.
drug test. Highway medical. Is that like your CDL drivers then?
Yeah.
Everyone gets drug tested, but only DOT personnel will get marijuana tested.
Okay, it's medical. I don't even want to get into the nuts and bolts of who
That's
does.
federal.
I know, but yeah, weed's legal.
Yeah,
Uh,
That brings up-
in New York State.
only for some of us.
Only in New York. Fund building, well, it's building inspector, sorry, not you. So then under fund highways, bridges and personnel, you got paint supplies again for $1,000.
Yeah.
That's different paint then?
Yeah, that's just like general paint we use to like paint bucks and stuff around the shop.
And then below that, 2 lines below, you got maintenance vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
It's up $22,000 this year, up from
Yeah.
78,000 to 100.
Yeah.
Why is it up 22,000?
Stuff costs more to fix. I actually have a stack of receipts here of all of our truck fixes that we had to send out to the dealer. I mean,
Yes, the whole exhaust system.
it's a lot, it has to do with that,
Is
but
it the depth? Because I saw that under the gas.
Yeah,
Where-
there's the-
You guys, is that because you guys the ones adding the $2,000?
I mean, this is the dealer
Yeah.
bill right here for $16,000. So we had to send the truck back to the dealer to fix it.
What kind of truck is it?
Dump truck, 10-wheeler. Everything with the DEF system, the check engine light comes on, we have to send it to the dealer to get looked at because we don't have the equipment to run it here. Even if we did, we'd have to send it back and fix it anyway.
Get you a computer or something that helped diagnose it a few years back, is that just?
Well, those are for like the top cars and other vehicles. That wasn't for the heavy trucks.
Gotcha.
I mean, we have a scanner that can do minor stuff for the heavy trucks, but if it has something to do with the emissions, we don't have it.
Is that something that we could get that's worth getting that we could?
I don't think it's worth getting. It's 5,000 just for the unit roughly, and then it's roughly 10,000 a year for the subscription.
Update it.
So
There's our battery shut-offs.
those are done.
They're all on every vehicle.
Every heavy truck.
Great. Well, no.
And then under Parks and Rec Department.
Yeah.
More paint products, $4,000.
Yeah, they paint a bunch of stuff too. Field paint, it's pavilion paint, it's bathroom paint, it's bench paint.
So we're buying a lot of paint.
Yeah.
Scrolling down that same area, about 7 or 8 lines down, we have athletic equipment, 6,000. What is athletic equipment?
That's for like softball games and softball leagues. We buy the balls and stuff.
You recoup some of those balls from my neighbor's yard. I'll cut some costs.
Yeah.
So the city is buying some athletics equipment then?
Yeah.
Different things that,
Yeah.
oh, it's just for the leagues?
Yep.
It doesn't go to actually go to anybody else other than, you have to be a league to get some of that equipment?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all we need though. Yeah, that's all we need. You know, equipment for.
Soccer nets too in the past.
That's what I mean, like, so like, like the Ives Pond soccer nets are covered in that?
Yeah, that is covered in that. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, well, we made hockey nets out of steel this year, so I don't know if that came out of the athletic equipment, but
Well, Ives Pond has a basketball hoop. Yeah, I guess, right, is that where that money would come from? If
Yeah.
that hoop got broken, that would come out of the athletic equipment line?
probably, yeah. That or just park maintenance.
And then they have, Parks and Rec has a professional services line for 8,000. What are they using for professional services?
I think that goes to their certifications, like Chris ups his certifications every year.
Might be
And-
pool certification.
Pool certifications.
Pools under COLA, that's all,
yeah.
that's all under municipal pool, youth and centers. Cause they also have an athletic equipment line, they have all the different lines under that, equipment, awards.
So a lot of times when there's events at the senior center, et cetera.
Senior Center has its own line.
But it's paid for out of the type side, and we look at it, between the seasonal events and the professional services, those we use a lot to cover. And we have like a more of an independent contractor type come in and do like a fitness class, let's say. And we gotta pay them to run a class.
So that's where the professional services line comes in?
Yeah.
There's also $30,000 line for trees, flowers and seeds.
Mhm.
That's tree replacement, correct? And like grass seed and
Yes, and tree care.
tree care. Not the,
City USA.
Yep.
but not the removing of the trees, which would be under like tree trimming, correct?
Yeah, but that's the tree trimming line's more for like equipment we need to trim trees,
Okay.
chainsaw, chain and rope, stuff like that.
Trees, RC's at 30,000.
Yeah, we drove.
Oh, you guys, we jump in, please, because
Well-
the problem is they're not in the row with the pages the way
Yeah,
they're.
that's how.
General fund youth board. The salaries, we had talked about the moving the 5,051, moving it into. Equipment. Equipment to, for the youth, not to pay some people that are. Volunteering, there's other major boards in the city, anything from Kiwanis to whatever boards. We had talked about it extensively a while back. To move that line. Equipment for youth.
Yep. I'm on board. I'm on board.
I thought this was just an information gathering session and then we were gonna come together with all our ideas and whether that comes out at the public hearing or if we're doing this, if we're all just gonna collaborate through email.
Exactly.
Cause I'm just compiling all these, my questions now so I can analyze all this. Cause I have that highlighted too, but only point, cause I have that highlighted, but I also have, like there's Board of Appeals, there's all these other boards that get money. It appears that you're right, Jim, that this youth board personal service salary lines is more than double any of the other boards. Cause like Board of Appeals, personal salaries, 2,300, traffic and safety salaries,
It's not
2,300.
related to Parks and Rec and DPW, so do we wanna finish up
You know, but
with?
Oh, that is-
Dave and
oh,
then
that's
move on
better.
to- other pieces.
Here's the part of what, we have to jump around because you're in like 3 different sections
Yeah.
and they're not like fires all in a row.
Yeah.
You're not all in a row.
You're all.
You're all
Yeah.
electric, traffic safety.
Which, I mean, just out of curiosity, does it, I mean, you're handling multiple different buildings, departments, you got paint here, paint there, athletic equipment here. I mean, would it make sense to kind of centrally locate all those supplies and under one budget?
If
And, you know,
it's
then
for
you have a better
parks,
idea of how much paint do you have for parks, can that be used for?
well, parks and signals technically DPW. I mean, so I don't think you want to mix their paint products together.
Right.
You know, I don't know how you would,
Well, I mean, yeah,
judge
I mean, are
it,
they
whether we need
warehoused
more
in the
for which
same-
department, you know?
are they all warehoused in the same place, or are they?
Yeah, yeah, essentially. I mean, while the parks is in the parks area, the DPW is in the DPW area.
Would you use one vendor to buy it all?
Yeah, it's usually Sherwin-Williams.
Do they give us a bulk rate discount for buying that much?
Yeah.
It's really not 15, 4, and whatever. It's one big $25,000 purchase.
Yeah, it's all on OGS anyway, so we have to go off state bid.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about too, when the fire was talking about their UTV.
Mm-hmm.
Cause he's got like a $20,000 UTV in there. That would have been a state bid type of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
In the youth center pantry,
Yes.
there's no budgeted amount for 2026. Do you know why?
I thought it was cut last year too, but it was just, yeah, it was-
The same question last year.
yeah, I thought they just don't buy food anymore for it or,
No,
yeah, and they weren't using it or something. So yeah, I thought that was cut for this year as well.
Well, is this,
Okay, because in 2025, it says $3,000.
$3,000.
yeah, that was it.
Maybe it got cut down last year and we still didn't use it. But
Okay,
but is it,
so there's no need.
I guess not. I mean, I don't handle the youth board, so I don't.
I know like during the summer, they would have lunch at Kohler.
well, that's what I
Money
was,
would have came out of there.
I don't.
well, that's what I was gonna ask you. If
Maybe
you-
that was for the, I didn't mean to cut you off. It was for the, that summer camp program. They would
Okay.
buy lunches for that and we don't do
Okay.
that anymore, so.
Yeah, that's, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
the schools are buying the lunches now in the summer. Even if you don't go to school in the summer, you can still go to school and get a lunch. So that might be why there's not a need for the city to take on that responsibility because the school's taking it on. Cause they're giving them breakfast and lunch, right?
Yeah,
And now,
at
and
the
then,
school.
and then lunch, and is it breakfast and lunch in the summer or just lunch? I know they give them something. They're feeding them year round. I've had a conversation with the principal regarding school lunches. And it's, available in the summers.
I had a question about the trash removal.
Mhm.
We don't make any, the tipping fees are astronomical.
Or we said.
Or
Right.
but we don't see any revenue in this city on,
No, we
Recycling.
don't make money. We
Right.
pay less for recycling.
right,
Certain materials, make money, but we recycle so much that the materials that don't make money still cost the city. So if we didn't recycle, it would be more because we wouldn't get any money for that, the stuff that actually pays. You know, cardboard actually does pay out,
That's the
so,
one that makes the most money.
yeah, clean, clear glass pays out, but green, brown bottles don't, so that just gets garbage.
so
It gives money
you're
back.
taking the money that. You may get from cardboard or glass, and that's offsetting the cost of everything else.
It's taken off the bill that we
Bill.
get every month.
Yeah.
It's not like they write us a check for it.
No. I expect
We
that.
don't receive money for it.
Yeah,
Do we still do anything with metals and stuff like that?
yeah, we recycle the metals.
Somebody puts a fridge out or.
Yeah,
and stuff, they don't.
we take it. Yeah, we get roughly 800 to 1,200 pounds a day, but you get 6 cents a pound, because we just get general sheet metal cost for it.
Right.
Because we throw out, like if someone throws out a metal bench with wooden slats, they get everything, so they kind of take a little off for like garbage they accumulate with the recycling of the metal, so, you know. It's not really paying out much.
Right.
No,
The only question I have is probably they haven't figured this out. Phones. Some of it runs for some places $333 a month for phones. And some is $250 a month for phones. And it seems like an astronomical amount for phones.
Are those landline phones or are they?
I
Cells, yeah,
it sells.
it could be. I don't
I
know.
don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I wanna say when I went down this road with Kohler Pool, cause I think they're paying $333 a month. And Senior Center is paying $333 a month. it's not telephone. Adam, correct me if I'm wrong on this. It's not just telephone for $333 a month. That's also their internet. That's their phone, their cable, that, because they have a Spectrum
Yeah,
account.
there's some kind of, I was actually just talking with Scott earlier about this, there's some kind of static IPs and stuff, maybe Sean, you would some of that.
Yeah, you pay
that-
extra
that
for
Rogers,
static
that-
IPs.
That we actually have either all that upfront Spectrum or Time Warner or whatever it was at the time, didn't charge us to build out a lot of these static IPs, so that's built into our higher costs that you see.
Give me a static IP definition, please.
Static IP is an IP address that identifies the location. It's also tied into things like your phone system, it's your public IP that identifies your site. So there's a masked ID behind it, your IP addresses, then there's the one out to the public. Because we have multiple different locations and they're not all tied together, each one of those locations have their own public IP address that identifies their phone system or their alarm system or their cameras. So usually you buy them in blocks of 5s for a building. There's a fee for that, there's a charge for that.
As I always said in regards to the date, but still. You know, Kohler Pool, we're paying that 12 months out of the year, and we're using 2.5, you know.
Right,
So
so,
it's not cheaper to just stop it for that time frame and go again.
you give up the phone number, they want, that's the easiest,
Right,
obviously
okay,
that's- But, that's, somebody calls Kohler Pool, they've been calling it for the last 20 years, you're gonna tell them next summer it's a different number. And then, I believe the security system needs the internet to, house the cameras and such. Make sure the security of the building stays.
Our VoIP phones all through Spectrum.
What is it?
It's all, it's a VoIP system, or voice over
Yeah.
IP, it's all through Spectrum only.
Yeah, really, I respect them.
Yeah,
Your new cable system cheaper.
Whoever you compare with.
No, but I mean, it just kind of seems silly that you're using it to retain the phone number, because do we really have a specific phone number tied to that location?
I think the other consideration, the better consideration is the idea that we still need the security.
Yeah.
The security system to function.
No, yeah, and you can still have it as IP, but I mean, again, this is probably not totally in your wheelhouse, but you start getting an RFP for possibly a different phone system. There's multiple different VoIP systems out there that you're getting charged for one line and then everything's an extension through here. But that's a different conversation, how do you Scott? Sorry, didn't mean to say.
No, just one.
No big deal to me.
Hell of a lot of money for phones.
it's not just phones, it's the internet
Right,
and the
yes,
cable.
right.
Like the senior center has television, they can watch cable TV. There's no line, that's why we went down this road last year, like the senior center doesn't have a cable TV budget line, they just have phone and that encompasses everything. Yeah, they said the same thing, we were digging through phone lines. If I remember our numbers were correct from last year, the telephone, just the lines alone in this budget, it's like 60,000 a year. The city of Tonawanda pays on telephone line, but it's not necessarily just telephones.
What about the cost of fire hydrants?
Don't,
even start there.
140,000 a year for hydrants, just to maintain them.
Any other
I
questions?
still gotta shovel mine out.
I do not.
Mm,
Thank you, Jake.
I think that's it for me, Dave. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Dave.
No problem.
Okay, so you need to schedule some time with the assessor.
We have a meeting next week, right?
Yep. Is
Yeah.
there,
Chock full of guests, I mean, to that guest experience.
We gotta get to manage the auditor,
And we got.
Yeah.
and DEC.
Your guy.
is there anyone else that we'd like to meet with?
I don't know if we need to necessarily meet with them, but I'd like to see a spending report from. Cemetery and homeless and all that, those other places to get money from us.
I will speak for cemetery. Adam has everything because
Yeah.
they don't get a dime. I don't want to speak for homeless. Maybe Jenna can answer this. Cemetery does not get any money. Cemetery spends the money and then has to submit receipts. So every dime they've ever spent is accounted for on a receipt.
Same thing.
And on the expenditure line for this sheet that showed every expense, city cemetery spent 12,000. And I did the math, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the 5,000 from the city plus the 7,000 in fundraising that they had donated to them. And that's why they have 12,000 in that account for that, for 2024. Because they have the two lines combined.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, so that's in their CMO.
Yeah, but that's why their number, that's why you're looking at city cemetery and homeless for 5,000, but really city cemetery's got 12,000 to play with. And it's because they worked with the American Legion, well, the American Legion had a fundraiser and donated the money to them.
And on the same token, the homeless has the grant from
Right.
legislators.
Very easy.
on top of their own 5,000.
Right.
But they don't get a dime of their money until they submit a receipt.
Correct.
Yeah, so as far as expenditure reports, he could actually probably run that. if he-
Yeah.
Yeah, he can-
But all.
If that's what we're doing it, then that's fine.
Well, that goes back to what Jim was saying about other volunteer services, other lines, he's moving these lines from a salary line to an accountable line. Everything goes through him then, and then there's no question of where the money was spent, 'cause it's only on a reimbursement. So when you see city cemetery committee, box of Cuban cigars, Adam goes, we're not paying that. There's no loss to the city, because they bought it, but they're not getting reimbursed on that receipt, because Adam's gonna say, nope, not reimbursing.
You've done that a few times.
Yeah, we've got a couple of.
Got a couple of
through
them.
for CMOs.
That's the best way to go.
Yeah.
Nobody
Well, that's where the accountability comes in.
Right, then we'd have the, if anybody comes and asks me what to spend this money on, instead of having a council resolution attached to $7,500, I would have receipts attached to the $7,500. Like right now, at this point, the PO is for $7,500, I cut it, but you try to, council resolution, you guys all pass, it, we attach to it, and that's our backup expense.
Right.
Thank you. Just wish I could hold it there, please. Give me some receipts.
Okay, anything else? So we just wanna meet with the assessor?
What about building?
Building, I don't know.
I mean, they're usually pretty quick response.
Did we have specific questions? Do you,
I do not have specific questions for building.
or maybe the liaisons
I don't know.
for the respective?
Could we do a liaison meet with the
Yeah.
assessor? Or do we want?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know who that liaison is.
there is no one.
I might, I'm Dave.
Dave,
I can reach out to her.
I'll second Dave.
You want me to, on the edge?
I'll reach out to her. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I know we had some questions on the grant application for Cole, not to switch gears. But I was hoping that Jason would be here, but I think, Adam can kind of speak to a portion of it, but in addition to this resolution, there also needs to be a resolution designating the council, it's a seeker, it's called seeker. Jason has to prepare that. In order to prepare that, council has to decide if they're going for the replacement or for the repair. And unfortunately, Jason's not here to kind of address the council as a whole, but he needs guidance in order to prepare that seeker.
I think there was Amanda's email, kind of gave a lot of the great pros and cons in both ways, both sides. I think I mentioned it before in an email, and if we are pursuing this and committing to that 20%, I personally feel like the repairs might be the better way to go. I just think there's less possibilities of disturbing the earth and getting into that sort of thing. Our share is cheaper. It's still a fix and a repair. I think, some of the things that she addressed about the handicap access and the zero level entry, and that might be things that we can address in the process as well. But I think we need to maintain this for the community, for the kids. I know there's lots of costs, but I think a lot of that, the large chunk of that cost of or the loss that we face over the year, that's if we're investing in full replacement of full bond. That's somewhat tied into it. I mean, I know we're definitely operating at a loss, but the significant loss was.
I don't think so. I believe the operating costs that I saw that were in that study, were pure operational, we didn't have any full finance portion to that. At least the numbers that I saw in that study.
So it's gonna be much quicker to get the seeker for a repair versus brand new.
Not as I said, we're moving towards trying to hit a deadline. I'm of the opinion that let's approve a seeker to.
Never come near the deadline.
Well, Jason has to write the resolution,
So
designating the council as lead agency.
I am for a full replacement, not a repair. Couple reasons there. One, you're talking a couple $1 million in difference, but we're only covering 20% of it. And of that 20%, she said she's gonna build in the 300,000 and change that we already spent on the splash pad. So you're talking almost approximate number, 600,000 to get a full $5 million brand new zero entry ADA compliant pool. I mean, that's unheard of. And if you do, in theory, if you do the replacement method, it's about 400,000-ish out of, so you're talking about $200,000 difference
I
between.
just don't know if we'll make the timing. It's just.
Well, so if you read her, I don't know if you were in on that, you got her email, on the pros and cons that you were talking about. She talks about she was instructed that this was a full repair job, and she wrote the grant accordingly. If we switch it to a repair and do the resolution tonight, we're not gonna be timely anyways, because she has to redo, I think she said it's like 80% of her paperwork she has to redo.
Right.
And everything's based on a point system, and she was explaining, she went out and got community letters from a person with a parent with a child, and got a letter, that's worth a point. And it's on this whole point system, and if we switch from replace to repair, we lose those points. If we pass the resolution, if I remember reading through Jason's email, he says it can be done. He can get his full replacement seeker done. It's going to be a heavy lift for him, but he can get it done by the 31st if we're timely tonight doing this resolution. A 10-year Band-Aid, I mean, you blink and it's 10 years. And then the new council will be sitting here 10 years from now, and they will be arguing over what do we do with this pool that now had a big Band-Aid put on it for $3 million, and now we're searching for more money, where for that extra $200,000, you're talking about leaving a pool that's gonna be brand new ADA compliant for the next 30 years at Kohler Pool. It's gonna have all the bells and whistles. It's gonna be attached to that splash pad. It's gonna be a destination, and it's practically free with that swims grant. And then, if you saw the resolution that I proposed, it says contingent upon our swim grant application being approved. If it's not, nothing we can do about it. And if it does, full replacement pool. 80% paid for.
I tend to agree with you on it. They say 10 years on a repair, but could be 7.
Could be 7.
You never know.
And with new is warranted. You go full new and we put those pumps in. I don't know how long a warranty on a pump, a big industrial pump is, but there's a warranty. There's some, protection.
Extended warranty.
We'll all agree on the pool. So bottom line is, if we get, she can't move without an agreement with this council. Jason can't move forward unless we make a decision on full or part. So make a decision tonight so Jason can work on it.
No, it's general consensus.
I'm full replacement.
I just think the benefits outweigh the
Of the repair, yeah.
repair.
I mean, we can put a Band-Aid.
Because we can put Band-Aids on that.
One more year, and we got one more, only because we got a new pump. We got a little bit pump, and we don't have a spare. We got the big pump. We lost our slide. We won't have a slide, but we will have a pool for the kids to swim.
I just
Mayor,
think about, oh, sorry.
Okay.
Just think about the amount of people that are using the paddock splash pad because it's a destination. If this pool is the same way, and we actually do a cost structure where people from out of the town, out of the city are paying money to use it, well, then it makes that 200,000 a little easier to swallow.
Is this a grant we can apply for every year?
It's not every single.
Okay,
We'll
so,
get it one time, just like Northtown.
no, I know, we'll get it one time, but
But it
do
is.
they offer this grant every year?
You don't make deadline, you can apply next year.
Yes.
Who's gonna,
I was so if we're not awarded it this year, we can still apply for it next year.
if they have it
Same-
next year,
Correct.
they might not have it.
They will.
Who's they?
The state, through New York State, when I talked to Bonnie Lockwood, the governor's aide a while back, we were talking about it with Matt Shuttler. It's a continual program that they plan on continuing. The difference is this year opposed to last year is they opened it up to not-for-profits rather than just government, so it broadens that pool of people that are available. But what they're talking about now is the more people talking about what their needs are, how this point system is a little bit skewed because we're talking about economic use in the area, but based on proximity to different areas of the city. The more they have these conversations, people bring these to their attention, the more they can change some of these things. So next year they could change some things around where we can become even more eligible. I'm still of the mindset that we should be applying for it this year. If we don't get it this year, we should apply for it next year. It gives us visibility and it helps show our need to the grant writers, to the state of how our city actually
Just
needs
remember,
this.
they opened it up to not-for-profits. Now the pool is a lot bigger now of people in municipalities.
The pool for the pool is a lot bigger.
Well, for the pool. But I'm in agreement that you should, until we get it, we should apply for it every year.
That's how
What
we-
I'm saying is next year is a governor's election year. You have all kinds of different dynamics in elections. You have all kinds of different dynamics in finance. There's a government shutdown going on right now that is going to eventually trickle down as far as funding. So everyone's like, well, if we don't, even if we miss the deadline, we'll just do it next year. There might not be next year. One day, there's not going to be a next year. And
Storefront.
I'm not saying kick it down the road to next year.
I was suggesting kicking it down the road, just to clarify. I was suggesting we apply for it. And if we don't get it, next
Apply
year
for
we
it,
apply for it, we
Yeah,
keep
keep
applying.
applying, absolutely.
Well, let's get all our ducks in a row to do this.
Even in.
Could,
I'm not for anything, yes, no, I am, as I say, I'm totally agreeing, that's my question. If we don't get it this year, can we go next year, or does it eliminate us from that?
If it's available.
could we
Right,
get
right.
a portion of it? So the 300,000 that we used for the splash pad, could we be awarded that amount?
We're going for the whole thing.
Okay, so it's one, okay.
One price.
But that already counts towards that.
It counts towards our 20% down deposit.
Exactly.
So that already, like our account was approximately 1 million. We've already shaved 300,000 off by just using the splash pad receipt. So we're already
She
saving,
has now.
right,
Right.
she has that information. And she's ready to rock and roll with her
Hey,
grant,
don't stop her. Let's not stop
right?
her.
So that's why I said and then
Hit a
she,
home run.
Let's do it.
You have to put it on, council.
So, Mr. Clerk, if you could read the resolution. I'm gonna ask for, I'll read it.
Okay.
By Councilman Fisher, do we have a second? Second by Sheasley. Whereas the city of Tonawanda has been presented with an opportunity to secure grant funding to fund a full renovation of Fuller Pool contingent upon a local matching contribution. Now therefore be it resolved, City Council, of the City of Tonawanda hereby authorizes the allocation of 20% in matching grant costs towards the full renovation of Fuller Pool contingent on the City of Tonawanda being selected as a recipient of the New York Swims Grant.
Should we put the whole amount, with the vote for it, with 4.5?
Comment,
Until we know.
It's 20%.
comments? I'll comment that, we'll reach out to the, city engineer, because he'll need to prepare a seeker resolution for 10/21. Any other comments? Please call the roll.
Sheasley,
Aye.
Fisher,
aye,
Armstrong,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. All right, anything else for this evening? All right, then I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Fisher, all those in favor?
aye.
I maintain.
We're left.